Hi, Chris Shank here, and I'm with the Ely BLM Helitack crew. They're helping me make this video about briefings before you fly in a helicopter. Normally the briefing is the job of a pilot, but the flight crew almost takes care of that, and I'm just going to go through those different steps. So the first thing about getting into a helicopter is our approach to the aircraft. We want to approach the helicopter from the front in the full view of the pilot when given a signal to do so, but never in the rear where the dangerous tail rotor is. And we also want to be a little bit low because that tail or that main rotor system is sometimes closer to the ground, and when it's moving it's certainly very dangerous. Once you've approached the helicopter, getting into it is the next step, and accessing the doors are real important. These doors are not like your car doors. They're a lot more fragile, and you need to follow the instructions. Most of them have a label that tells you what's what: closed, open, and you've got access. Additionally, the rear door has a similar label. The lever goes down, put your hand on the black brace, let it slide back. This door has a lock to keep it in place. Now we're ready to talk about getting into the helicopter and securing ourselves. Now that we've got the doors open, we want to get in and get into our seat belts. And our seat belts may not work exactly like your dad's Buick. The latches and buckles are a little different, so becoming familiar with them, and different makes and models have slightly different ones. In the case of this seat belt, there's both a shoulder harness and a lap belt. The lap belt has a clip, and the shoulder harness usually stays attached. They can be extended or retracted quite easily, and the belt comes together with a solid click. So get used to how that works. Once I get seated, I'm going to clip that seat belt together, and the belt should ride low about where our belt is, and then the safety harness, the cross harness, needs to come across about to cover the most of my shoulder and chest. I'll also share that the emergency position in any seat belt that has a shoulder harness is going to be upright, leaning back, pushing into the seat, bracing with your hands, or crossing your hands so they don't flail about. Once it's time to leave the helicopter, I can unbuckle my seat belt, but an important thing to remember is to not let them sit outside or flail on the helicopter. So I'll lean forward and with a little effort buckle the seat belt behind my back. If you can't do that, you can always lean back in before you leave and buckle it up. The idea is that it wouldn't hang out, makes a terrible noise, and can damage the helicopter. Some of us are going to be sitting up front during a survey of some sort, and getting used to the front seat and how it works there is important. There's a 4-point seat belt there, and it takes a little finesse to get it on. He's going to kind of show us a little click there, and there's 2 other points besides this other side that help you get into that seat belt. And then there's a little lever that locks across it. Here's a little closer view of clicking this seat belt together. You'll just go ahead and hook up the top straps, the shoulder straps, and the side straps. And then there's a little toggle there that just pushes down, and then you're able to go ahead and adjust the side straps. That buckle should be about where your belt buckle is if you were wearing one. All the helicopters have communications equipment. You're going to probably be plugged into either a headset or, in this case, a flight helmet. So our movie star here is going to show us a little bit about the ICS switch and the plug-in. You can see there's a little jack there. Gently plug it in. There's going to be a button for talking outside of the aircraft on the radio, and a slide button for talking inside. Sometimes there'll be an opportunity to just go hot mic, but it can get noisy in an open cockpit. All aircraft in the States are equipped with emergency locator transmitter. It's a beacon that helps people find aircraft if they have an emergency. The ELT is in the armed position, and an emergency of a few G's, hard landing, could turn it on. But if it needed to be turned on, there's usually a switch in the dashboard that can be put in the on position. It'll send a beacon out. We'll show you a picture of that in the back of the aircraft. So the aircraft has several pieces of safety equipment. One thing's a fire extinguisher, usually located close to the pilot or co-pilot seat. And the purpose of that fire extinguisher is to get people out of there. The aircraft has insurance, and we want to take care of people first. Additionally, If the pilot were to be incapacitated and the aircraft was still running and on the ground, there are a couple things that we can use to shut it off. One is a fuel shutoff valve. Once that's shut off, you can power off that. There's a main power switch. Usually go shut off valve, then power switch, and a rotor brake that stops the motion of the rotor. Don't leave the aircraft until all of that movement is stopped. Most aircraft carry a first aid kit to help with some minor and major injuries, and then oftentimes a survival kit. You should ask your pilot where that's located. Once you're finished with the mission, it's time to depart the aircraft. If the rotors are still turning, follow the same instructions you followed entering the aircraft. Oftentimes we can just wait for the rotors to stop moving and we're done with our mission. And as I always say at the end of our talks, that we ask everybody to have a safe flight and tailwinds and clear skies.